It's been a while, hasn't it? Welcome back again to another perk guide for Decaying Winter. We're looking at the Resident Edgelord and second perk that has been added to last trend's update, the Drifter, which is unlocked by getting 10 kills undetected / unaware scavs. How do you get that? Use throwing knives. Easy. If you don't know how these videos work by now, we go over the pros and cons, the ability breakdown, recommended equipment and traits, and finally some helpful tips in order to use the perk efficiently. Starting with the pros, we have an increase to our melee damage. We are also immune to cripple and exhaustion, meaning we can continuously run without worrying how to break our legs or being tired from running. However, we have a heavily reduced recoil control and slowly reloading with guns, meaning already high recoil guns such as the AKM may be an issue, as well as slow loading guns to boot, such as the Automat. And finally, reduced max HP of 10, bring our base to 90. It's not as bad as you think. With the ability, the Drifter's ability is the MB type Dread. Let's just try to walk through this one by one, starting with the activation, which it has two functions. The first one, by normally pressing F, you'll switch the blade on and slam down smoke vials, which will blindside any scav within the smoke, and give you a speed boost plus the cloak buff, which we'll be going over later. The second function, which you hold F, will activate the anchor SRSB on your current position and teleport you a distance a little bit up. Once the blade duration ends though, you are teleported back to the anchor point. Note, you can also end this ability by pressing F. In terms of attacking, there are actually two ways. LMB will do a small thrust, doing about 90 damage and removing some duration. You can also hold LMB to do a short linger, but it's not really wise to do so. Pressing RMB, however, will do a medium dash into a slice, which does 150 damage and life steals 100 HP back to you, but will remove all remaining duration. This is best to use during the end of the ability. Now, let's talk about the cloak buff. This allows you to become virtually invisible to the scavs. This buff can also be applied to your teammates, allowing them a brief period of 5 seconds of invisibility. Yours lasts longer due to your duration of the ability and all that. However, shooting, using a melee, or shoving will cancel the buff early, but using auxiliaries, perks abilities, reloading, parrying, consuming items, using nades, placing traps, or using a remote button will not actually cancel. Another note is that the Council Raiders will not target you until you hit one while cloaked, but the Sledge Cleaning and Raycon Cultists will actually auto-detect you. So recommended equipments can go as follows. The Shotgun Device. After its buffs, it's basically a universal equipment on all perks, giving a 200% fracture, which lowers melee damage and gun accuracy on scavs. The Caldera Stim, now, is obviously a universal frontline perks. You know what it gives. I hope. The Dan Janiel is also really good, giving a painkiller buff which holds the bleeding of any type, more defense, and temp negates fracture among some other small things. Now I would say throwing knives here, but to be fair, your perk can already get rations fairly easily, and you're also undetected without having to do much of anything. Perks are actually fairly simple. Impatient, basically you can run forever without being exhausted. Fearless, to deal with the gun and exhaustion damage reduction. Dependable, even though not as potent as maybe Fearless, is still a good all-rounder damage reducer. And Paranoia for semi-autos, which is going to be your bread and butter for later waves. Now if you really want to go, you can do Methodical to fit your role better as a frontliner CQC. Personally for me though, I went with Impatient, Fearless, and Paranoia. Right, so some tips. When playing as a Drifter, you are not a kill-based frontliner like Berserker, EXE, or Vagabond. So, if they are on your team, do not go for the kills. I know it's tempting, but you can assist them accordingly. Vagabond, the sword is actually an ability, so their cloak will not actually go away. But how does that work with Berserk and EXE, since anything they do in terms of melee will just remove the cloak ability? Remember what I said though, the smoke vials act as a blind/stun. So, let your Burrs or your EXE know this, and gather them all up, and stun. This will make it so they can get the kills easier, and not take any damage. This can also be applied to Vagabond too, by the way. In terms of Risk Runner and Artillerist, since their guns are actually abilities, Risk Runner, for instance, can use the minigun while being cloaked, or the alternatives can get a quick Deadeye kill without being directly attacked. Arbiter and Blitzer can also be cloaked for their abilities as well, but they're for more general synergy than big things. But there can be more thinking that can be applied here. Is one of your teammates hurting and needs a heal, and your ability is ready? Run it in there and save them, while also clearing the stranglers that they may have left behind. The teammate that now is cloaked can also just now back off to a safer area to heal in the meantime. This can also actually be used when someone needs to reload back, consume something, Blitzer, or really anyone using bombs. Again, Arbiter fits here as well. When it comes to anchoring/attacking, anchor is a very good way to sweep through a POI location such as mountain or outpost, and you can cancel the ability early if you need to. Also, it can be used as an opener kind of thing for a wave phase, so I have to use hold F and then just kill some scavs. Attacking, you can get 4 LMBs in if you time it right, or 2 to 3 LMBs and an RMB for some lifesteal as well. Once the blade is finished, you actually still have some cloak time, so you can use this time to maybe reposition, use an item, whatever it may be, or you can end it early to land in some big damage with a shotgun or whatnot. As a quick note, for weapons, any melee generally works for Drifter, but the EXE can be combined with the 10 HP lifesteal for 15 technically. Guns, it's best to use something like DMRs, such as the RSASS, is a good gun, or even a shotgun since you only reload 1 shell at a time, like at the KSG, Caldwell, or Spaz 12. Alright, that should wrap up the Drifter. I'm not the greatest at the Drifter at all, but hopefully with this video, if you ever play Drifter, if you like Drifter a lot, or maybe you're just starting out, maybe it would give you some knowledge and maybe you learn something new. Other than that, thank you for watching, and next time we'll be going over the Apostle with the Funny Daves, Shadow Hunters, and all that stuff. Till then, see ya.